Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into Google's incredibly ambitious new AI, Gemini, and exploring how it's aiming to be so much more than just another chatbot.
So let's just start with a thought experiment. What if your AI wasn't just this thing you type at, but was a true partner? One that could see, hear, and understand your world pretty much just like you do.
For the longest time, we've treated AI as a tool that we have to command step by step. We give it an order, it gives us an answer. It's a very simple, reactive kind of relationship. But what if it evolved into something more? A proactive partner that actually anticipates what you need, that understands the context of what you're doing and can take action for you? Well, that is the huge promise behind Google's new Gemini AI. So how in the world does Gemini make this leap from being a reactive tool to a proactive partner? Well, it all starts by moving us way beyond the simple chatbot model that we've all gotten so used to. And this is the key. This isn't just about getting better, smarter answers to our questions. It's a really fundamental shift toward giving the AI a high-level goal, like, say, plan my weekend, and then empowering it to figure out all the little steps on its own. It's about enabling action.
So what's the magic behind this? What's going on under the hood that makes this whole thing possible? Let's take a look at the new engine that makes Gemini tick.
Okay, the first really big idea is something called multimodality. Now, that sounds complex, but it's not. Unlike older AIs that kind of had vision or audio bolted on as separate features, Gemini was built from the ground up to understand all these different things: text, images, audio, video, even code, all together at the same time, just like a person does.
And that powerful understanding gets supercharged by this number right here, 1 million. The latest version of Gemini Pro has a 1 million token context window, which is basically a measure of how much information it can keep in its working memory at one time. And trust me, 1 million is a lot. To put that into perspective for you, it's kind of like the AI being able to read an entire book, and then you ask it a super specific question about a minor character who was only mentioned way back in the first chapter. Or you could upload a 2-hour video and ask it to find one specific moment. This massive memory is a total game changer.
But, of course, Gemini isn't the only player in this game. So the big question is, how does all this new tech actually stack up against its biggest rival, OpenAI's GPT, when the rubber meets the road, in the real world? This brings us to this really interesting idea of a paper tiger. See, on paper, if you're just looking at benchmark scores, Gemini looks dominant in almost every category. But as a lot of professionals are finding out, the best AI on a test isn't always the best partner for real-world work. The story is just a bit more nuanced than that. So when we compare them across actual professional jobs, you can see they're really optimized for different things. Because of that massive context window, Gemini is an absolute research powerhouse. It can synthesize hundreds of sources into a single report. But many find that ChatGPT often has the edge on creative strategy and complex back-end coding, where it can feel a little more like a human collaborator. And this difference in coding is a perfect example of their unique strengths. Because Gemini is natively multimodal, it's like a brilliant web designer. You can show it a picture of a site, and it can actually write the code. ChatGPT, on the other hand, is more like a seasoned systems engineer, better at building and debugging all that complex logic that runs behind the scenes.
Okay, so we've seen the tech, we've seen the competition. Now let's bring it all home. How does this powerful new AI actually show up as a real-world assistant in your life?
While take health, the new Fitbit personal health coach uses Gemini to go way beyond just showing you raw data. It analyzes your unique patterns to give you adaptive, expert-vetted advice on improving sleep, managing workouts, and actually hitting your personal goals.
And for accessibility, well, the impact here is just profound. Gemini is powering new tools that literally act as a new pair of eyes for blind and low vision users, which dramatically increases independence. Imagine this for a second. There's a feature called live video mode that lets a user just point their phone's camera at anything and get instant spoken feedback. They can ask natural questions like, hey, is my cat sleeping on the couch? Or what temperature is the thermostat set to? It's a technology that makes the world so much more navigable and accessible.
And for productivity, Gemini can act as an AI agent, which means it can handle complex, multi-step tasks for you. You give it a high-level goal, like planning a trip. It then breaks down the problem, searches for flights and hotels it thinks you'll like based on your email, builds a full itinerary, and once you give it the okay, it can even handle all the bookings. So where's all this going? What's next? Well, all of these different applications are really building towards a single unified future, a future where AI is seamlessly integrated into our environment.
Google calls this ambient computing. The goal is to move AI from your phone screen into the world around you, mainly through a new generation of smart glasses. It's AI that's just there, helping in the background.
And this isn't some distant dream either. There's a clear public roadmap. By the middle of 2026, the transition from the old command-based Google Assistant to the full Gemini reasoning engine will be complete across the entire Android ecosystem.
And this will all come together on platforms like Android XR, enabling smart glasses that can remember where you left your keys, or translate a sign in a foreign country in real time, or give you turn-by-turn directions right in your field of view.
So, this leaves us with a pretty profound question, doesn't it? As AI becomes this deeply woven into our lives, acting as our eyes, our ears, and even our memory, what role is left for us? That's the question we'll all be answering together.